Tonight, I have two stories for you. Two real people. Two places you never want to be alone after midnight. First is about a hospital security guard named Marcus, alone in the basement morgue at 3:11 a.m., when the phone that's been dead for 8 years rings and a woman's voice whispers, "Security, there's someone in here with us." 3 nights later, the same phone rings again, and the voice on the line is his own. Second story is about a janitor named Sarah in a Seattle office tower that officially only has 12 floors. Until one night, the elevator stops between 11 and 12, and a blood-red button labeled 13 appears. She presses it and steps into a hallway that was demolished in 1977, with a window showing a city that no longer exists. Two stories, two night shift workers who quit the same week. Two reasons you'll never feel safe alone in a building again. Let's begin right now.
The Morgue That Called Security on Itself. Submitted by Marcus R., Night Security Guard, St. Luke's Medical Center, Chicago, March 17, 2021, 3:11 a.m. to 4:05 a.m. My name is Marcus. Last name redacted for obvious reasons. I worked night security on the basement level of St. Luke's Medical Center for 6 years. My post was a small desk at the end of the morgue corridor. 12 cameras, 1 chair, 1 monitor bank, 1 landline phone that hadn't rung since 2013. My job was simple. Sit there, watch the screens, make sure nobody who wasn't wearing a coroner's badge went in or out of the cooler. Most nights, nothing moved. Bodies don't get up and walk. That's what I told myself every single shift. March 17th, 2021, 3:11 a.m. exactly. The intercom speaker on my desk crackled to life. A woman's voice came through, faint, distorted, like she was speaking from the bottom of a swimming pool. The voice said, "Security, there's someone in here, with us." I stared at the phone. Extension 013. The morgue phone. That phone had been physically disconnected in 2013, after the remodel. The wires were cut and capped. I knew because I helped the electricians do it. But the call was logged on the digital system. Timestamp 3:11:02 a.m. Caller ID, Morgue, extension 013. I thought it was a prank, maybe some med students on a dare. I radioed my partner upstairs. He was on his hourly smoke break outside the ER dock. No answer. I grabbed the master key ring, the one that opens every door in the basement, and I went down alone. The elevator ride to sub-basement 2 felt longer than usual. When the doors opened, the temperature dropped 20 degrees instantly. The air tasted metallic, like licking a battery. The corridor lights were flickering in that slow, sickly way old fluorescents do when they're about to die. The morgue door, a 400-pound hydraulic slab that only opens with a key card or the wall switch, was standing open exactly 6 inches. Impossible, unless someone was holding the switch down from inside. I pushed it open with my flashlight beam cutting through the dark. The cooler was set to 34 degrees. My breath came out in thick white clouds. All 12 stainless steel drawers were closed, except drawer 7. It was pulled out exactly 8 inches. The toe tag hanging from the sheet read, "Jane Doe, arrival 3:09 a.m." She had arrived 2 minutes before the call. I stepped closer. The sheet was perfectly flat. No body underneath, just the faint outline in the fabric where a body had been lying minutes earlier. The indentation was still warm. I could feel it on my knuckles when I hovered my hand over the sheet. Then the intercom crackled again, louder this time, from the dead phone mounted on the wall inside the morgue. The same woman's voice, clearer now, almost conversational. "Marcus, why did you let him take me?" I knew that voice. I had never heard it before in my life, but I knew it. My skin went colder than the air around me. I backed out of the cooler, let the door hiss shut behind me, and sprinted the 50 yards back to my desk. I pulled the camera footage on fast rewind. Here's what the cameras recorded. 3:11:14 a.m., a man wearing a plain black suit, no tie, no ID badge, walks into frame from the service corridor and back out of the service corridor carrying an empty black body bag over his right shoulder. 3:09:27 a.m., he walks out the same direction carrying the bag zipped shut and full. The timestamp jumps from 3:09:27 a.m. straight to 3:11:02 a.m. 95 seconds completely erased, gone. Not black screen, not corrupted, just missing, like someone deleted time itself. I called Chicago PD. They sent 2 uniforms and a detective. They searched every inch of the basement, the loading dock, the parking garage. They found nothing. No Jane Doe was ever logged into the system. No transport van had arrived. But drawer 7 still had the fresh outline of a body, and the sheet smelled like wet earth and something sweet rotting underneath. I finished my shift because I was too scared to leave the building alone. 3 nights later, I was back on the same post. March 20th, 3:11 exactly. The morgue phone rang. The same dead line. I let it ring 20 times. 21 times. On the 21st ring, my own voice answered from the speaker, calm, flat, exactly how I sound when I'm trying not to panic. "Marcus, there's someone in here. With us." I quit that night. I walked out at 3:47 a.m. and never went back. They demolished the old basement morgue last year to build a new imaging wing. The construction crew found 1 extra black body bag buried in the concrete foundation, zipped from the inside, and still warm to the touch when they cut it open. I still wake up at 3:11 a.m. some nights. The phone on my nightstand rings once. I never answer, but I know who's on the other end. The 13th floor that only opens after midnight. Submitted by Sarah, night janitor, Meridian Tower, Seattle. Thursday, February 9th, 2023, 1:57 a.m. to 2:18 a.m. My name is Sarah. I cleaned the Meridian Tower for 4 years, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 5 nights a week. 42 stories of glass and steel, built in 1974, renovated twice, but the elevator panel has always been the same. Floors 1 to 12, then lobby and garage. No 13. Never has been. Everyone who works there jokes about it being unlucky, but the building actually skipped the number on purpose because the original developer was superstitious. I was alone every night. Just me, my cart, my headphones, and 12 floors of empty offices. I liked it that way. Thursday, February 9th, 2023. I finished floor 10 around 1:55 a.m. and pressed the call button for the service elevator. The doors opened immediately, like it had been waiting for me. I rolled my cart in, pressed 8 to continue my route, and the elevator started rising. Then it stopped dead between 11 and 12. Not a jolt, not an alarm, just stopped. The lights dimmed to half power. The panel flickered once, and a new button appeared below 12. 13. Lit up in dull, blood red. I thought someone had stuck a prank sticker over the panel. I even reached out and tried to peel it off. It wasn't a sticker. The plastic was warm. I pressed it. The elevator dropped so fast my stomach flipped. No floor numbers lit up, just the red 13 glowing the whole way down. 20 seconds later, the doors slid open with a soft chime I had never heard before. I stepped out into a hallway that smelled like old leather-bound books and ozone after lightning. The carpet was 1970s blood-red shag, the kind that was ripped out of every other floor during the 1998 remodel. The walls were wood-paneled, not the modern white drywall I knew. Every office door had a brushed gold nameplate with names engraved in cursive. I walked slowly, reading them as I passed. Margaret Ellis, Executive Secretary, died by suicide 1983. David Cho, Accounting, cardiac arrest in elevator 1997. Robert Klein, Security, found in stairwell 2001. Lillian Park, Janitorial, disappeared 1977. Every single name belonged to someone who had died in the building decades ago. I reached the end of the hall. There was a large window overlooking Elliott Bay in downtown Seattle, except the view was wrong. The Space Needle was missing. In its place stood the Kingdome, the old concrete stadium that was demolished in March 2000. The lights on the water were all wrong too, old-fashioned orange sodium lamps instead of the white LEDs that replaced them in 2011. My radio crackled to life. My supervisor, Frank, voice panicked. "Sarah, where the hell are you? You're not showing on any camera. The board says you're off the grid." I pressed the talk button. "Sarah, I'm on floor 13. The elevator took me to floor 13. He laughed, nervous, the way people do when they think you're joking but aren't sure. "Sarah, there is no floor 13. You know that. Stop screwing around." I turned around to head back to the elevator, and it was gone. Just a blank wood-paneled wall where the doors had been 2 minutes earlier. I banged on the wall. Nothing. I ran back down the hallway, banging on every office door. No answer. Then one door at the very end creaked open by itself. Room 1313. Inside was a single wooden desk under a green banker's lamp. On the desk sat a fresh Polaroid camera and a stack of blank film. As I watched, the camera whirred by itself and spat out a photograph. It developed in my hand. It showed me, standing in that exact office, holding the camera, taking the picture. The timestamp burned into the bottom in red. 2:14 a.m., 02:09, 2023. My watch read 2:13:59 seconds. I dropped the photo and ran, full sprint the length of the hallway. At the end, now was an emergency stairwell door that definitely hadn't been there before. I threw it open and took the stairs 2 at a time, 3 at a time, for what felt like 20 straight minutes. My lungs burned, my legs gave out twice. I finally burst through a door into the main lobby, and the big wall clock read 2:15 a.m. 1 minute had passed. Security footage later showed the service elevator never moved after 11:47 p.m. I was on camera cleaning floor 8 the entire time I was gone. But my keycard logs show a scan on floor 13 at exactly 2:14:03, and the Polaroid I brought back with me still exists. I keep it in a locked box under my bed. Every year on February 9th, a new Polaroid appears in my mailbox. Same office, same desk, same green lamp. But I'm 1 year older in each photograph, and every year I'm standing a little closer to the lens. The most recent one arrived 3 weeks ago. I'm now only 2 feet away from the lens, and my hand is reaching out toward it. I don't know what happens when the next one arrives.